Hey everyone, welcome to Clarity Tarot. Today I'm doing kind of a different reading I'm kind of excited about. This is going to be Who Am I? And we're going to answer that question with this new deck I'm so excited to play with. It's Tarot of the Divine. Ooh, can you even see that? There we go. And so each card has someone from folklore, fairy tales, or deities of different cultures. So what we'll do is I have one card here for each pile, and I'll tell you a little bit about the deity, and then I'll interpret the card in classical tarot and clarify it to see if there's anything else. But the question we're answering is, who am I? Clues to my sense of self and my mission on Earth. And I think this will be fun. We'll see what comes out. Okay, so pile one, we have the raking it in coin purse. Pile two, we have these skull candy headphones. And then pile three, this bag of United Airlines pretzels that I found in my bag that's been there Lord knows however long. So let's start with pile one. Pause the video if you need a few more minutes. Okay, and so pile one, the raking it in coin purse, your card is Four of Wands. So, and the people that are in this card, and I'm going to read a little bit because I researched this a bit ahead of time. So this is really interesting. So these two folks are from Indian folklore and religion, and it's Aravan and Mohini. So Aravan essentially was a warrior who fought on behalf of Krishna, one of the gods, and in return for this sacrifice that he knew would eventually end in death, he was granted basically three, they called them boons or three rewards, and one of those was a marriage so that he could have kind of a holy funeral and for some other reasons. By the way, if anyone's more familiar with any of these stories, please link them in the comments below, or feel free to share your information. This is just from a little that I saw in the guidebook and was able to piece together. So, but the interesting thing here is that Aravan, Mohini is actually Krishna in female form. So essentially, because of Aravan's dedication to his god, that god wanted to grant him a wish and come and in female form become his wife. So what I'm getting from this when we're asking the question, like, who are you? What comes to mind is that, that you're someone that has dedicated your life to spirit or God as you understand God, and that's involved a lot of sacrifice. It's involved maybe a road that's a little harder than most, but that God has really blessed you from that. As an aside, as I was looking into this legend a bit, which actually comes from an epic poem, there's actually a group now in India called the Aravanis, I believe, who talk about this story as kind of the origin of there being a third gender. So particularly if you have any connection to gender identity challenges, or if you're transgender yourself, you may want to look this up because there's a lot specifically about that. Also in tarot, this is the Four of Wands, which if you are a twin flamer, you may think of that as the twin flame path, which has been described by many as a very difficult spiritual path to be a part of. So, and probably in some ways, I would think kind of mirrors some of the challenges that Aravan had with following God and his understanding of God. It's also about celebration, home, belonging. So generally this could be saying that you're a person that it's really important to you, like your home environment is very important to you. You might be an earth sign, which would be Capricorn, Virgo, or Taurus. And I almost kind of think about this with the coin purse also. Wow, that's really large on that screen, but which is kind of about money and the Benjamins, etc. But the overall message of the card here is that you have a higher purpose, you have a spiritual purpose. So let me just see, that's what I'm getting so far. And I also want to clarify, what deck will I clarify with? I'm going to actually clarify with the Tarot of the Divine. just because there's only 3 cards out of it. It's a little stiff still. I just got it today, but I'm so excited. I love any kind of fairy tales. I'm actually reading a book right now that's like a reinterpretation of Rumpelstiltskin, called Spinning Silver, which is it's just a delicious book. Okay, so anything else we need to know about pile 1? Who is pile 1? Clarifying the 4 of Wands. Let's see what else we get here. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Cards everywhere. Okay. Card or 2, please. All right. We have the King of Wands. Interesting. And this looks like a firebird. And I'm actually going to just look up in the book what legend that one in particular. The Phoenix, East Asian mythology, symbol of strength. And I mean, we all know about Phoenix rising up from the ashes. So yeah, strong themes here about rebirth, service of something higher, being willing to kind of go through the fire to transform as needed. I'm just going to see if there's any other, wow, clarification just from my playing card deck here about who you are as a person. Anything else for pile 1? Okay, well, we got 3. We have 9 of Cups, Queen of Cups, and Knight of Wands. So a lot of fire energy and water energy. We have 3 Wands cards out here. So yeah, so what else I'm getting about you, pile 1? Just very, very passionate, deep well of emotion and inspiration and fieriness. How else would I say that? Well, yeah, passion, inspiration. You're giving me the vibe of the kind of person that, whether it's friendship or romantic relationship or even family, you're able to kind of sweep people up into this really romantic whirlwind of love and mutual acceptance and bliss, and you create that for yourself and others. I'm really getting that from this King of Wands card as well. So yeah, so that's what I'm getting for you, pile 1. I hope you enjoyed this, a little bit different approach to the reading. Let me know if you did or if you didn't. Please like, subscribe, or comment. And yeah, and if you know anything else or want to share anything else about those legends, please do in the comments. Actually, maybe I'll link to them as well for those of you that want to read more. So thanks for coming by. Hope to see you next time. All right, pile 2 with the headphones. Let's see what card you have. You have the Justice card. Okay. And I'm just looking at my notes here on this one. So depicted on this card actually is from a Korean legend, Amhang Iosa, who essentially was appointed by the king, by the rulers of the region, to be a secret inspector. And so this person kind of traveled throughout different provinces to kind of search out any problems. Well, yeah, that's what a secret inspector does. Find if there's any corrupt officials and comfort people who are suffering. So basically like the hand of justice, thus the Justice card, kind of empowered by the king, appointed directly by the king to be able to bring healing to the land and to the people through actually focusing on the systems and making sure that those systems are healthy and honest. So one of the original social justice warriors, I guess, is what I think about when I think of this card. So in terms of, if we're thinking about answering the question, who are you? You're a person that your compassion for humanity, your love, your meaning in life is less about dealing with people directly and more about dealing with the systems that support them or oppress them. So you may have a special interest either in politics, or even in something like, I'm thinking of a couple of people I know who work in this space, making companies or organizations healthier for both the people that work there and for the people they serve. So rooting out corruption, making sure that there's good work-life balance, and that the companies are actually supporting the lives of the people that are within them, not just extracting the work they need from them. And let's see, what else about who you are with this one? Just like in this card, I mean, you can see that this person looks pretty fierce, right? You might not always notice about them that they have a really rich and gentle and compassionate heart. And I think that's something that people may sometimes miss about you, pile 2, but is absolutely there and informs all of your work decisions. Perhaps you're a very work-focused person. And so people may just see the improvements that you're making, but they may not always see the heart behind that. So that's what I'm getting so far. And I'll link in the comments to this legend so you can read more about this person if you like. But I'm going to just clarify again with the Tarot of the Divine deck and see if there's anything else coming up about that. And it's a very new deck. I just got it today, so it's still pretty stiff. So you're going to watch me fumble trying to shuffle this. Here we go. Okay, any clarification for this Justice card about pile 2? Who is pile 2? We have the Eight of Pentacles. So similar to what I was saying before about being hardworking. I want to pull 1 or 2 more. Oh, I got 2. And we have the Star and 6 of Wands. So I'm going to hold these up for you so you can see. There's the Star and the 6 of Wands and the 8 of Coins. Okay, so all these together, pile 2, what I'm getting is I think you're really kind of this out front type person. You may or may not be a leader of an organization, but even if you're not a corporate type, there's something about you where you have a platform, you have a following, and people see you as an inspiration. So 6 of Wands is about like victory, very public victory actually, and kind of a public persona. I also get that with the Star. So that combined with Justice and the 8 of Coins just gives me the sense of you as a person that's very well respected, that is high visibility in some way, specifically through your work. And your work persona is a lot of what people understand you to be. So I'm also getting maybe that sometimes people are inspired by you and see you from the outside looking in, but they may not always get to know you all that well. So they have like this shining perspective of you, but it's almost like someone that you observe and appreciate from afar. And I'm wondering if that's maybe sometimes kind of painful for you, that people don't try to come a little bit closer. Yeah, and so I'm feeling guided just to ask specifically about that. Anything that we need to know about pile 2, specifically about their connections to others in terms of who they are? I'm just using a regular playing card deck for this. I'm apparently not really very good at that left-handed, so any clarification? Hi, Pepper. Can you hear the kitty in the background? Yeah, what is it? Do you want to be on camera? We have Ace of Pentacles. So that's about it. Come here. You want to scratch? It's okay. Sorry. Cat paws. Need some attention. Ace of Pentacles is about, having some kind of grounded small offer with people. So I think there's something that really enhances your life when you're able to either work alongside people you love, or start small projects, even if they're like volunteer projects. So if you're discouraged in any way about your personal life or your state of your personal relationships, I think the guidance here is to find ways to be on teams where you can make good use of this persona that you have and kind of the visibility that you have, but do it in a way that it's something that's important to you. So maybe that's just finding a kind of a drop-in volunteer type experience that you could have maybe on the weekends occasionally. I think there's also some caution here, though, not to I don't know, I've sat on several different board of directors, and sometimes that can be really heavy in terms of workload. So it's more like when you're looking for social things to do, look for things that are giving back and that have some kind of work element, like a volunteer project, or some kind of like religious or community organization, and that's going to greatly enhance your social life. Okay, pile 2. Hope you liked that. Kind of a different reading. Let me know if you did or you didn't in the comments. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Private reading info is in the description box, and hope to see you again. Thanks. Okay, pile 3, if you chose the airline pretzels. Here's your reading, answering the question, who am I? And we have, okay, Queen of Wands. And this Queen of Wands is actually Pele, a Hawaiian goddess of fire. Actually, the legend is that she created the Hawaiian Islands. You can see the volcanoes in the back here. So I'll link to her story in the description box, but what she reminds me of would be almost kind of like, scorpionic energy, or being able to kind of create something from nothing, regeneration. I mean, really, and when you think about the Queen of Wands, it's kind of like a similar energy, right? And I'm just going to look up in my notes here and see if there's anything else that I might want to mention about her. So resilience, adaptability, and power of the indigenous culture of the islands. So what's really standing out to me is kind of the adaptability and the resilience. I mean, it takes a lot to just bathe an entire region in fire to recreate it, right? That's essentially what volcanoes do. So in terms of answering the question, who am I, and answering that with Pele and the Queen of Wands, I think there's something strongly regenerative about you, pile 3, where you're able to rise from the ashes. So pile 1 actually had some phoenix imagery. And so, but what I'm getting here for you, when I think of a phoenix, I think more of, almost like something negative or bad happening to that phoenix, and then the phoenix responding. So it's more of like a reactive energy. I find that you actually are a very proactive destroyer of things in a really positive way. So, and really for new things to happen, for change to occur, that can only happen if there's a destructive force. I've mentioned before, I work with the Enneagram, which is a personality system, and has a pretty, there's a typology, but there's also kind of just a frame of thought. And one part of the Enneagram frame of thought is what's called the law of 3, where there's always an activating force, a denying force, and kind of a reconciliation force, or something that brings those together. And so what I think of you here with Pele and the Queen of Wands would be that you're the denying force, or the destructive force, which is essential for growth, for the cycle of life, for all patterns and cycles in the world. And so what I would expect from that for you in your life would be just I would think if you could look back at your life that you would see that you've almost been 5 or 10 people by now, and there's always a piece to yourself that you're dying to or letting fall away. And I think you inspire that in others as well. So I'm getting pretty strong healer vibes from you as well, pile 3. Like, and that can be, when I say healer, you could be a massage therapist, you could be a counselor, a psychiatrist, an energy worker, maybe even a teacher, or there's really any range of professions you might have. But when I say healer, I just mean that you're able to identify what's holding someone back and support them in their journey to heal it themselves. And in particular, I think that you have an ability to kind of midwife the death process of those parts that no longer serve that person. So, and the example that's coming to mind right now would be like an addictions counselor, for example. I would think that of that is very much kind of a process like what Pele might have to do. Like, you have to burn certain parts out of yourself. Like, you have essentially this connection to this addictive substance or pattern that you have to die to, and then you have to create a new relationship with yourself, a new relationship with that substance or pattern. And so that requires just a lot of regeneration and transition. And I think what you're able to do is illuminate for people what needs to die and be stripped away, and then support them through that transition because you've done it so many times yourself. So I get, because of this, people might actually find you a little scary sometimes because they might intuitively sense that you're about this, that you're this person that helps to let the old fall away. And everybody is afraid of change, no matter how growth-oriented a person you may be. So if you ever get that reaction from people, definitely don't take it personal, pile 3. I think people innately respect you. I mean, even if you think about Queen of Wands, like Queen of Wands is, I think, the sexiest character in the tarot deck, one of the most creative, regenerative, inspiring, but that can be kind of overwhelming too, right? Like, not a lot of people can match that energy. So you are a force to be reckoned with, a force of nature, is what I'm getting. So I want to see if there's anything I missed there that Spirit may want you to know. And like I said, I'll also link in the comments to the Legend of Pele, so you can read a little bit more. Okay, so anything else for pile 3 that I may have missed? Yikes. Ten of Swords and Knight of Swords. Yikes. So I'm just looking at this imagery. This is pretty intense, right? Oh, I have it upside down. How about that? Let me just look this up real quick, because I was just reading about this today after I got the deck, about this legend. So this is actually from Inuit mythology, and this is the story of Sedna, whose father pushed her from his kayak, then chopped off her fingers when she tried to cling to the boat. She sinks to the bottom of the ocean and becomes consumed with wrath, eternally seeking revenge. This is the Ten of Swords, which is about endings, no going back, defeat, and this is... I hope you take this in the best possible way, pile 3. And by the way, this might actually be my pile when I go back and watch again, so please don't take what I'm about to say personally. But I almost get that you're kind of the person that might be the one chopping off the fingers of the person trying to cling to the boat that's no longer serving them, that's not taking them where they want to go. Like, you're the one that lovingly will push people into the abyss so that they can transform, because ultimately you're willing to take on the burden of people maybe having some misdirected anger or frustration at you if you know that it serves their higher calling or their higher purpose in life, and you have a really clear picture of that. Maybe not always a clear picture of exactly who a person should be, but definitely what might be holding them back. And then we have the Knight of Swords, which is about like clear communication, which can sometimes be on the blunt side. So yeah, so altogether, what I'm getting here is, well, number one, I want to be your friend because you look amazing, but also really fierce, intimidating, just a ever regenerating person, releasing the old and ushering the new, even if that's kind of a baptism by fire experience. I don't know if I mentioned this yet in this reading, but even though this is the Queen of Wands, like all of these are gender neutral, so you could be any gender and have this describe you. So yeah, I guess I want to get just one point of clarification for you about, I would think that sometimes it'd be kind of hard for you to connect to people with having this really intense energy, and people maybe having this initial reaction of being afraid of you, or just like, oh, I better keep a wide berth from that one. Anything about that you'd want pile 3 to know about that? I mean, it's really not your problem to manage, but I'm just feeling led to pull something for you about that in case that rubbed you wrong or hurt your feelings a little bit. 9 of Pentacles, yep. Anything else? Eight of Wands. Yeah, okay, so 9 of Pentacles is typically like the single, sexy, confident card is how I think of it. But here it's more, how it's coming across to me is as you being an example, like almost like a role model, just by living your life, and not by you intentionally doing things any particular way, but just by being you. So the encouragement here is just you do you, boo. You're killing it. And with the 8 of Wands, which is probably the most quick moving, fiery card in the deck, action card in the deck. It's portrayed normally with like 8 wands shooting straight off into space. So the advice for you in terms of connecting with people is be in your own power, be in your own body, and just let it fly. And some people won't totally be able to match that vibe, so they'll just like absorb from you and be happy just to kind of bask in your presence in a way. And others will be on your level and able to hang and want to spend their time with you in that way. Yeah, so don't dim your light. Pile 3. Okay, well, I hope that was helpful. Hope you liked that. It was a little different reading today. Let me know if you did or if you didn't. Like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.